Michael Langer from Deal Company here in Brussels. I have one question, Commissioner Tajani. Do you think if EU would be a company, is it running well? Would you invest in this company? So imagine the member states are departments. Is that well-organized company? Sorry for that question.
No, thank you very much. I'll give you a moment to think about it while I see if there are any others. Yes, please, sir.
Yes, my name is Gustavo González Quijano, and I'm representing the European leather industry. It is a European leather industry, l'industria del cuoio, la conceria. It is probably one of Europe's smallest industrial sectors, but a very buoyant one, a very important one, because we are part of a very important fashion industry in Europe. And just a comment, European Parliament President Schulz complimented you because you put again industry into the focus. Let me compliment you as well for putting fashion within the industry into the focus. I do want to stress, however, that it is very important that when you focus on industry, that you also take into consideration the point that Mr. Samaras was making, that all sectors should be well attended and all sectors should have the possibility to contribute to this global governance in international value chains. And therefore, in my sector, I would like to ask you to put a little bit more attention on what is happening there, in particular with regard to the single market regulation.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think, is there one here? Yes, please.
Hello, I'm from the Malta Federation, and I'd like to make a point, and to be honest with you, to be very clear, I've done a couple of points just to make sure that I cover everything. So I'll just read it out, it's just a one page. So the Business Europe position on the European Industrial Compact is clear, decisive, and well-timed. It sheds a guiding light towards establishing a more robust industrial economy, which we in Europe would like to see contributing to no less than 1/5 of GDP. As Business Europe often declared, production in Europe has increasingly involved value chains stretching across countries, with each country specializing in one or several stages. The EU's capacity to innovate together will, in future, guarantee a robust position in the face of global competition. In terms of this complementary aspect, I feel that Europe needs to ensure that peripheral regions and states are given a fair opportunity to make their contribution of European industry. As things stand, the 20% target is indeed ambitious, for some countries more than others. I can speak from personal experience and state that it has become increasingly difficult to operate competitively from a small single island region.
Briefly, if you would, please.
So this is because of certain consistencies that exist in European regulations and in the application of the one-size-fits-all approach to particular regulation. All this is resulting in increasingly uncompetitive and sustainable conditions in such affected locations. It is pertinent to note that small preferred states have no option but to sell products outside.
Okay, very briefly, if you would now, please.
Just as a conclusion. So I will skip and conclude. Therefore, rather than the one-size-fits-all, I humbly appeal for the adoption of the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities. This is generally recognized as a manifestation of general principles of equity international law and recognizes natural differences in certain states. Believe that this approach will also ensure a fairer and more equitable state of affairs between all European operators and citizens.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. So that question of, let's not forget, maybe the focus is often too much on the center, on the biggest. And that also, perhaps we could also link that to the question of SMEs. I see one at the back here. Yes, please, madam. Thank you.
Paola Lancelotti, European Shippers Council. Shippers are the cargo owners. It means all the industries who have cargo to move in all the supply chain. I appreciated the fact that you were mentioning the link between the manufacturing and the trade. Maybe it's not so popular to say after everybody complimenting you for your work, which we think in the Europe 2020 and the competitiveness pillar, there's a missing element, which is partially linked to logistics, because we were seeing how important is also logistics. But logistics is dealt actually by DG Move, as everybody knows. And the perspective from DG Move is actually from the supply rather than demand. So we would welcome a more presence from the DG Enterprise on the issues that refer to logistics, because it's the demand that is driving the supply.
Which
Thanks.
goes back again, a very quick one. I can squeeze it if you're very brief.
Very quick question. Arthur Neslan, you're active, to Mr. Tajani. Mr. Tajani, it was quite well known that you were trying to argue for a 35% greenhouse gas target in the climate and energy package debate that was going on last week. Do you feel that too many compromises were made, particularly on renewable energy and also on the greenhouse gas target?
We are going to come back on energy in the next session, but a brief one on that. We don't have long, so can I add to all of that? This question, I particularly like if the EU was a company, would you invest in it? But on this question of the international approach, we're going to talk later about trade specifically, but I'm just wondering, some of you have made reference to how other regions of the world, our competitors, are driving the competitiveness and the innovation agenda, and whether you feel how we compare with that. Thoughts? So, Commissioner, the first question was to you. If the EU was a company, would you invest in it?
But I think, first of all, it's important to explain our strategy on European reindustrialization. It's important to coordinate every sector. My idea is one industrial policy with a lot of different sectors working together. In every sector is important for other sectors. Fashion sector, for example, is crucial for tourism. And tourism is an industrial sector, is crucial for fashion sector, for agri-food sector, for textile sector. But this is important to work not in favor one or two or three sectors. It's important in favor this link, to organize a good link. For this, the European industrial policy is crucial. To have a policy is important, because the industry is not the same in every member state, but it's important to utilize the different sectors for only one target. The target is growth and jobs, but without industry, without small and medium-sized companies, it's impossible to achieve this target.
Okay.
But for this, it's important also to work in other sectors. Energy is one of the most important. The price of energy is one of the most important points. The European Commission, after a long debate, approved that this target 20% of renewables and 40% of CO2 reduction in the next year. These are two targets, but it's important the final decision by the Council. It's not our decision.
Okay.
It's our decision is on carbon leakage and on ETS. You will have the same today rules from today to 2021. This is a good message, I think, for companies. No new rules before 2021.
Okay.
This is on carbon leakage and ETS.
Okay, thank you very much. Pierre, you wanted to come in.
Yes, very quickly on your question, if I would invest in Europe, I would say yes, for three reasons. First reason is we are in recovery. We see growth coming in, so it's time to invest in Europe because growth is coming. Second reason is Spain and all of the countries have made tremendous efforts to reform their countries. So we know that the past has been bad, and now it's time again for this country to go up, and they will. And third reason is France is back, thanks to François Hollande Pact of Responsibility. So now we are fighting hard to just be sure that what is said, which are marvelous words, can be real. Then a question on energy, just very quickly. I think energy is a very important topic for Europe. Why? Because it's for two reasons. First reason, it's a cost. energy is a cost, and we see it's a competitive cost. So we need absolutely to organize ourselves to be sure that this raw material is as low as possible in terms of cost. And for industry, it's a very, very important cost. Second reason, it's a fabulous market for the future. Everybody will need energy. Chinese, India, Korea, United States.
Okay.
And we know that we have all in Europe to develop the energy of the future.
Okay.